I've been upgrading my iPhone every year for a long time, but this might be the year that I might not have to. It's been close to a year since this iPhone launched, and with the iPhone 16 coming out, how has my experience been, especially now in the summer where some things have changed? And if you're thinking about buying a new phone and maybe getting this one, should you wait for the 16 or should you pick up a killer deal on an iPhone 15? Well, I'll let you guys know my opinion and what's coming on the 16, but I want to say that this year has been so interesting with the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Now, one of the changes, one of the simplest ones, is USB Type-C, and let me tell you, it has been amazing. I know the Android fans are gonna be laughing at us, and I don't know why Apple took so long to put USB Type-C in their iPhone where they had it in their iPads and on the MacBooks, but it is so nice to just have one cable to charge and connect everything. I'm actually kind of mad at Apple for making us wait this long. I've done everything from charging to hooking up different docks and transferring files so quickly through that cable to my phone, and it has just been awesome. I've even charged up some devices and somebody else's phone from mine, and that is just really, really nice. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the camera quality. Now, I know it gets better every year, but this year I actually went out and I bought the new Fujifilm X100 Mark VI, and after a bit, I actually ended up selling it. The iPhone was just too dang good, and even though that thing is a brand new camera that was so hyped up and it made nice images, I liked the film simulations, having the ability to have 3 separate lenses on me at all times, I would have the Fuji with me, and then I'd pull out my iPhone to take an ultra wide shot or to be able to zoom in. And when comparing some of those images side by side, I just decided it wasn't worth it, which just speaks to the quality of this. Of course, portraits are so nice now. The software for blur is really good, and the software for the video portrait, the cinematic mode, has gotten so much better. We actually started to use it, and with that, over the last year, with this phone, we have started to do a lot of shoots just with our iPhones because it is finally good enough. And that just speaks so much about this camera system. Now, the one area where I'm not super happy with is the quality of the ultrawides, particularly in lower light situations, and that we can talk about with the iPhone 16. Now, Apple also recently released Final Cut Camera, and that has taken things to a whole nother level. There's been a lot of different camera apps that you could use, but I used the stock one very often because it worked well. It was quick and easy, but with this, we have all those manual controls with all of Apple's processing, and we've gotten some killer shots now, very similar to DSLR quality, especially on YouTube, that the whole experience has been really nice. And we're gonna use these cameras more and more for our professional shoots. Now, if you care a lot about camera quality, you are gonna want this, the world's first gimbal with the built-in wireless remote control, the iSteady V3 foldable smartphone AI gimbal from our sponsor Hohem with incredible 3-axis anti-shake stabilization. This will take your iPhone's camera to a whole new level with upgraded AI tracking with better sensitivity and accuracy using its cool dedicated magnetic AI tracker that now locks onto the side, which means it works in any app with a bunch of hand gestures to control and customize AI tracking so you'll never lose your subject. It even includes a super bright light with tons of customization. You can easily swap the gimbal 180 degrees or switch to landscape. And you can now use the brand new detachable remote, giving you full control from a distance, including switching through various modes and recording. It also comes with a neat little tripod on the bottom, as well as a built-in extension for selfies, and I love how easily it folds down into a compact size. So definitely check it out using the link in the description below. Now, getting more into the software, I have the developer beta of iOS 18, which just got the new Apple Intelligent features. Now, it is very limited so far because this is just the first release, but so far there's been some things that I really really like. The first one is the summarized text or notifications. So my wife can send me a bunch of texts and it gives me a quick summary so I know what's going on if I can't go through and read everything right away. That has been really cool. I've also tested out the writing tools and those are really nice, but I think for me, since I spend so much time on my Mac, it's gonna be a lot more useful there. But the cool thing is it's all built in. I've actually paid for some tools like this before, but now it is free. Now, one really cool thing that I appreciate is the better search for photos and videos. Now I could actually look through the video file. It's a lot smarter. And this is great when you have a ton of photos like I have, because I've had an iPhone and iCloud for so many years. Now, another thing that's cool is to make custom videos from your memories just with a search term. You can actually type it in like you're talking to somebody. It'll find the clips, it'll put it together. This is gonna make it a lot easier to access and share different memories from your photos. They're just stored on your phone that you probably rarely look at. Now, that is all built into here. And the crazy thing is that and a lot more other Apple Intelligence features are just available on the iPhone 15s with the newer processors. And honestly, I have to say that I think Apple could have made it available on a lot more phones. Of course, it might not be on device. It might have to do some more stuff on the cloud, but it seems like a tactic just to get people to upgrade their phones. Now, if you bought one of these 15s, that means you're good for many years. Or if you're trying to decide a cheaper phone to buy with better deals, well, that makes this phone a really good purchase. When it came out, we told you guys that if you've been waiting to upgrade, this is the time to do it, and that seems to be the case. Battery life has been fantastic. The super bright screen has been awesome, but it doesn't mean that we haven't had any issues, especially now that it is summer, and that's where I've gotten quite frustrated. Now, back in the day, the iPhone screens used to overheat like crazy. I remember I even crashed a drone because my screen dimmed so much I couldn't see nothing, and that was just horrible. And same thing with gaming, it would overheat. Now, this one still does it, and for a lot of the year it was fine, but now that it's summer, man, I have just gotten so frustrated because so many times the screen is dimming and so fast. I've even had one time where it just said, sorry, it's too hot, you can't use it. And that sucks. Now, in my previous videos, I talked about titanium. I talked about I would honestly rather have aluminum because it's a much better thermal dissipator of heat. Titanium sucks at this. And Apple has avoided putting in really good cooling in their phones like a lot of Android companies have done. And we've seen with the new M4 iPads, well, those got super thin and they have much more powerful processors with the M4, but they did a new thermal design. They actually are caring about cooling, and that made a big difference. It actually thermal throttles less, even though it's so thin, and it has better performance. So that is what we are expecting with the iPhone 16. So here's some reasons why you might want to buy a 16, which is gonna be out here in about a month. We know we're gonna have slightly larger display sizes, and honestly, I don't really care for that. I think this size is large enough. But with that said, if you're on the fence between two different sizes like I was, and I've had both and switched between them, that's gonna push me towards a smaller size. This now is gonna have a slightly larger display. And a big reason for that is because the 5x camera that I absolutely love on the 15 Pro Max is gonna be coming to the 16 Pro. So I might actually go for one of those. Now it's also gonna get the A18 Pro chip in the Pro ones, and then the A18, it's gonna improve the AI features, which are gonna be useful. And we're gonna get a capture button on the side, which I think is gonna make it a little bit more natural. It's gonna force people to go back to recording widescreen, which Apple wants them to do for the Vision Pro. But I don't really think that matters a whole ton to wanna switch. And I think the biggest one for me, other than the cooling, is gonna be the 48 megapixel ultra wide camera. I love having that wide view. Certain scenarios, you just can't take a good photo without it. And that's gonna fix the really old ultra wide that's been in here for a while, where the quality is not the best, especially in lower lighting situations. I think that's probably gonna be the biggest reason I will be tempted to upgrade. But with that said, out of any of the previous iPhones, this is the one that I would be glad to spend a whole nother year for. I might want to get a case that might cool it down in the summer. There's a couple options for that. But all around, it has been awesome. You got the USB Type-C, a lot of the updates that make it a great phone to have for a long time. So if you guys bought one of these, let me know. Are you guys gonna be keeping it? How long are you gonna keep it? And if you're tempted to buy one, why would you buy one right now instead of waiting for the new one? So thank you guys for watching. Go ahead and click that circle above to subscribe. Check out one of those videos right over there. This has been Max, and I'll see you in the next one.